So I want to go to our guest here real quick because I don't want to take up too much time. I just recently, actually right now, I'm meeting this individual for the very first time. Her name is Andrea D. Figueroa, and she is the CEO founder of Poderosa Rising. For some of you who may not know Spanish, Poderosa means powerful. I love that name, powerful, right? Their mission is to provide all women with a therapeutic social network that encompasses culture, the arts, individual freedom, community involvement, and political advocacy. And also, they are a grassroots 501(c) nonprofit organization that provides women and girls affected by all types of trauma with the support and help empowering and improving their health, their well-being, their financial status, and living conditions so they can become agents of change and role models in their home and in their community. I love that part. I was just speaking to her about that, being able to better ourselves and empower ourselves to do so much more, but not only for us, but also going out there and helping other people, right? People that may be lacking, people that may be in their same situation, and maybe are looking for a way out, or maybe are looking to connect to see, I want to do it better. I want to better myself, but maybe they don't know where to go or who to connect with. And that's why I'm pleased to have with me here Andrea. She, like I said, is the CEO and founder of Poderosa Rising. Thank you for being here. Say hello to the people that are listening.
Thank you for having me here. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here, giving some information about our program and what we do and who we help and what we have to offer our community.
I'm always curious because people, when they start something, they had a vision, they had something maybe personally that said, when I get to be where I need to be, I will want to do something to fix my issue or my problem. What was it that inspired you, or what is it that you saw that led you to do what you're doing now?
That's actually a good question. I am a past caseworker for over 15 years. Most of the individuals that are on my board and working with the project have also been in social work as well. And through our experiences with social work and dealing with the population of families that have had crises and trauma experiences, we've come to realize that the first line of defense for children is to have a strong mother that is willing and able to protect them. And so if we can focus on not just moms right now, but we can focus on young adults who are planning or not planning to be moms, and we can focus on girls that are being empowered to make choices and preventing trauma and crises from their lives happening, then we can together build a more sustainable community that is able to prevent another generational cycle of trauma and abuse.
Right, and that's so important because a lot of times it's like, we realize that, especially here where we're at on the west side, right? You mentioned that it's a cycle, and a lot of times it's that, the kids see the parents do what they do, and a lot of times, their parents didn't have the parenting skills to be able to teach or parent their kids, and so the kids, now that they have kids, right, so to speak, is that, this is a cycle because that's the way it is, because nobody's taught them or nobody's shared with them that there's another way, or you can be empowered. You don't have to just be there and be the recycled part of the generations that have been before you. And so it's very important to be able to have these programs like what you have to be able to empower, and like you said, start them off as kids, because I believe if we get them at that age, by the time they become young adults, they're so much more knowledgeable, so much more empowered. Like we were talking about, if we can get them to be leaders now as teenagers, or even younger than that now, that by the time they get older, they're just more advanced and they can do more, not only for themselves, but for the community as well.
Right. Exactly. We are very boots to the ground type of organization, which is completely different from the roles that we've all had in the past. Most of us now are licensed professionals, and so we really wanted to build an organization that we could fully engage our clients in not just therapeutic services, but mind, body, and soul strengthening, as well as an economic empowerment program that can help them be able to provide a financially stable life for themselves and for their children.
Right, and there's so much need now, especially after the COVID and the pandemic. I was listening to one of the reports a while back, and it said that some of the young people, they had a lot of young people coming to the emergency center thinking that they were physically ill, but then when they're looking at them and diagnosing them, they said, there's nothing physically wrong with you, it's mental.
Right.
And so I know that they were already dealing with a lot of issues before the pandemic, but with this, I think it just compounded so many different things. And I'm talking about the youth, and I'm sure the adults as well, that, you know, because of that, they need help.
Exactly. And I think what kind of sets our program apart a little bit is that it's not just the therapeutic services, but because we've taken an approach where we hit we come at it with a triangle approach. And we used a triangle approach because triangles are the sturdiest geometric shape. If one side has more weight than the other, it won't break. So it's kind of unbreakable. So we really wanted to provide our mothers with a 3-prong strengthening, growing system. And with that, like you said, there is a physiological side to the stress that our body undergoes. And so that is exactly what our mind, body, and soul strengthening does. We utilize techniques that actually our ancestors were using for years, and somehow in the transition of our modern life, they've kind of we don't use them as often, or we don't see them as actually therapeutic resources. But something as simple as hiking, taking a nature walk, being in that moment, self-defense, and learning how to protect yourself, yoga, meditation, explaining how to breathe. I think a lot of people, especially in the population that we work with, have an idea of what yoga and meditation is, and it's not something that they see themselves or the people around them doing, so it's something that is almost foreign to them. But it's actually something that's free. It's inexpensive. You don't have to have a yoga outfit. You don't have to have a yoga mat. You just have to be taught how to do it. Right. So definitely guided meditation is something that we've seen a decrease in cortisol in our clients, and increase in serotonin and dopamine. And these are things that they're able to do naturally for themselves without than necessarily having to seek an emergency, like you had mentioned, go to the emergency room for. There's also a healing arts component where we do not just painting, but we also do a lot of poetry. We found that poetry is extremely healing. I've used it throughout my life numerous times. I was a teacher for a while, and I incorporated poetry in teaching narrative therapy as well. So we do spend a lot of time in the arts because that helps nurture and strengthen our mind, body, and soul. And then we have dancing as well. So we do incorporate the body movement and how to just find joy in the here and the now, and teaching our clients to do the same even when they're outside of therapy, and how to be able to use these approaches in their daily lives.
Right. It's so important, like you said. I think a strong foundation is always very important in anything that we do, because especially if we get that strong foundation as young as we can be, right? To get that foundation, because like I always tell the youth, right? I said, everything you have will start to be built on that. As you grow, you'll realize in so many different aspects of your life that you will add to your house that you're building, right? But if your foundation is not strong enough, you can build on it, and at some point you'll see cracks, or it may not even, last. It'll crumble and everything goes down. And I think that's the aspect of health, right? Like you were talking about, especially with the COVID and everything right now. I know last year I had to make a decision. I said, I got to do something, and I took out walking,
Okay.
So I don't know. For me, it was like, you know what, just get up early in the morning. I get up about 5:45 when it's really quiet and everything. I think that adds to it. And it's just you pretty much. And, you know, you start to see the morning break. It's very soothing to know, hey, it's a new day beginning, but what am I going to do, right? How am I going to be a positive or an impact on people in a good way? And so now I'm starting to look at, you know, people tell me, I don't know, I guess you don't see it because it's gradual, but some people say, hey, looks like you're losing weight. And I said, well, it's either that or I'm buying bigger clothes. You know, I don't know. But I kind of see that, and it's soothing, you know. It's very relaxing when you do that. And now I look forward, because it's hard in the beginning to get up, and you're like, you don't want to get up. And I'm like, no, you got to get up. And so, again, doing a lot of these things like what you're saying, you know, whatever it is that maybe somebody that's listening right now says, you know, well, I do like kind of art, you know, said maybe you've never done it. Maybe this is a good way for you to start to engage in something like that. And like you were saying, the therapeutic side of it, you'll benefit from it, because it's not just doing what you're doing, but it also encompasses things that, I mean, only you know how it's going to help you, whether it's poetry or whatever the case may be. But I'm very encouraged that you're offering all these things, because sometimes, you know, you may have an organization that only offers one thing, and I get that. But when you have that different array of what you're offering, there's something there for everybody.
Exactly. We also included women's rights advocacy, so that women feel like they have a voice and they're empowered to be able to speak on their behalf, and they really can own their stories, and not just own their stories, but be able to make positive change in the future and take ownership of that type of empowerment. We also included a community involvement, which we were talking about earlier. A lot of times when our clients are able to give back to their communities, they instantly feel empowered by that. We also we're always looking for opportunities where our moms can participate in community involvement, give backs with their children, so that we can create another generation that believes in helping each other and has that mindset that they can be empowered and they can make changes, and their work is effective. They can have a ripple effect on society. And the last part of our program is our economic empowerment program, because it's really hard to focus on breathing or doing art or working with the therapist if your bills aren't paid, if you're worried about how your kids are going to eat tonight, if you want to be able to move into a new home and you don't know how to get there. For me specifically, home buying as a single female minority was huge. It was something that I never believed that I could do. And so when I got to the point where I was able to do it, I really wanted to make sure that I encouraged other women who maybe just were not raised to believe that was something that was in their realm of capability. And I wanted to bring them resources and programs and all the information they needed to really be able to wrap around them and make that, if that was something they wanted to achieve in their life, make that happen. I was also a first generation college graduate, so I included college prep in our program as well, because there's a lot of young youth that don't know how to get from point A to point B, and sometimes they get discouraged and they don't know who to ask because no one in their family has gone there or done that. And it can be very overwhelming. It can be very discouraging when you don't have someone. So we definitely wanted to be able to provide some type of social mentoring and some guidance for them, and whatever we can help them do, whatever we can help them with to make sure that they feel grounded and pursuing whatever dreams or aspirations they have.
Right. No, absolutely. There's two things that kind of stuck with me. The first one was that, and I wanted to ask you, because when you said that you thought you couldn't buy a house, what was it specifically that had you in that mindset or mind frame that I can't do this? What was it? Something that someone said to you? Was it something that you just thought, because of who I am, I can't do it? Or how did you get to that mindset?
I was a very young mom, and after my first divorce, I went to go have a house built. I had worked, and the first question they asked me was, "Where is your husband?" And I said, I'm divorced. And they said, well, since you didn't work last year, you need your husband. You're going to need a 2-income household to be able to qualify to buy a house. So that just stuck in my mind for many years. And of course, my second husband, we bought a house, and then when I became single again, I was like, I want to be a homeowner again. I don't want to rent a home. There's nothing wrong with renting homes, but I want to be able to build my equity. Right. I had plans for my future of having a private practice as a therapist, and I wanted to be able to start investing my money. And so I saw and I researched and I saw other women doing it, and I just thought, this is something I can do. I mean, I didn't think I could graduate college, and I did. I didn't think there was many things in my life I didn't think that I could do, and I did. So this was just another obstacle. I was like, I'm just going to figure out how to get it done and do it. So
it was more self-imposed, like I can do this, and that's harder sometimes because it's like I have no clue. Right. I have no one kind of, at least kind of moving me, directing me, like go this way. And I think for a lot of people that may be the case. They're kind of like frozen, like I want to move, but I don't know how to move. And sometimes it just takes a small nudge or small, little push to get people going.
Right.
But when they don't even have that, it's kind of like, no, I'm just here, and this is where
this is it for me.
Right. This is where I'm going to be all my life. Yeah. And it's going to be, this is what I'm meant to do. And I think it's discouraging because you get to that point where you see everybody maybe prospering or they're succeeding, but there's always a way. And a lot of times, like I tell some of our partners that are starting, like their organization or nonprofit, I said, look, you just got to move. I mean, you may not know how to do it. You may not have a clear vision at the moment. I said, but you got to move. I don't care what you do, as long as it's good. Don't get me wrong. I said, you just got to move, do what you got to do. There's always opportunities, but if you're going to sit there thinking everybody's going to come to me and bring it on a plate,
right,
you're going to be sitting there for a long time. And so that's why for Bridging the Gap, when I hear your stories or other stories that they're starting off, because we were there at one point too with practically nothing. And to know that sometimes you even ask for help, and some people are like, hey, I did it on my own, you figure it out. And unfortunately that happens, but knowing that we went through it and nobody helped us out, or it was just very difficult, it was trial by error. My heart is to try to help people, because if I can help you get there quicker, so you can do more quicker, then that benefits you and everybody else that you're helping. And so that's what Bridging the Gap is wanting to do, and trying to help everybody that connects with us. And so I'm very, very encouraged, like I said, with what I'm hearing as far as your programs and everything. I know you're just starting off. Is there anything, and I always ask this because I think it's important, right, that when we start off, that you may need something that maybe somebody out there listening right now may say, there was one of the nonprofits that had just got a nonprofit status. He said, well, we're looking for a building. We're looking for somewhere to, office out of or anything like that. So is there anything maybe that somebody that's listening might be able to provide? I don't know.
Sure. Okay. So we are definitely grassroots. We don't have any type of funding at this time. Everybody that works on my project has worked on it, giving of their time willingly. We would love to have a home. We hope to have something set up within the next year to 2 years. Currently, we're about to have a orientation for volunteers and interns on Thursday night, and the areas that we're looking for volunteers and interns to help out with is event planning, clerical support, network branding, helping us with our community engagement booths, because like you said, it is a lot of networking that we're doing right now, helping with our community outreach presentations, so the different organizations that we've been able to partner with and collaborate with. We always needing people to help us go and team up with us to be able to disperse our literature and help us pack up and set up. Assist our grant writing team. Definitely, I think we would be in a way better position and be able to definitely help more of our community if we were able to get some volunteers to help with our grant writing. Really, any type of pro bono skill-based the opportunity that we have, anybody, we will not turn away help for sure. So that's pretty much the area that we're looking for volunteers in. We do also have a launch party coming up May 18th, and details for that will be on our website, but we do hope to have some volunteers help us with setting all that up and creating a nice environment
Sure. And this is going to be ongoing, right? This is not just going to be like, we just need it for this week or the next week.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Right now, these are the areas that we're trying to get settled and establish our foundation. But we do definitely want to have our social mentoring program where we have our successful women of San Antonio help get connected and help provide support to our moms that are struggling and our women that are struggling, our first generation college graduates, our single moms, our young ladies. We definitely want to be able to build those connections and create, like our mission statement says, a social network. We believe that strong women will help strengthen other women.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so I don't know if somebody's listening out there and some of you are wondering, I've been wanting to do something. Maybe the kids are back in school because it seems like, kids are going back. It's not normal the way it was, but, it seems like kids are going back and you may have some time to say, hey, I was looking for something to do. Maybe this may be something that you may be interested in doing, helping out a couple hours. You never know. If you have gifts and talents, utilize those, because it not only helps you, but it also helps those that you're helping. And I'm a firm believer that sometimes we have to take our focus off ourselves and put it on someone else, because a lot of times we focus too much on ourselves and we realize, I'm not in the best situation or whatever, and that kind of deteriorates our way of thinking, and it's not good for us, right? Let's put it this way. And so when we take that focus off ourselves and put it on someone else, you're helping someone in whatever capacity you can help. It's always a big plus and a blessing that whatever you do will impact or affect someone, and you never know. I mean, I've had those cases where you talk to someone or you say something to someone, and a couple of years down the line they'll say, you know what, you said something or you did something that helped me so much, and you didn't even realize the impact that you made. So sometimes it's not very evident at the moment, but whatever you do, believe me, if you do it out of the kindness of your heart, it never comes back void. There's always something that you will sow a seed. You will do something that maybe that individual needed, and you were the person or the catalyst that allowed that to take hold, right? So if someone's just interested, what contact information can they reach you at, or a number or a website or email, whatever you have, social media?
We have our Instagram account, Twitter, and Facebook, Poderosa Rising. We also have our website, which is just www.poderosarising.org, and we are we don't have a home yet, but we do have a telephone number that I can get you.
And that home is coming. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but like I said, we were there, and who would have known that we would have had these big buildings where we're at now? But it takes sometimes a little time. But as well, if someone's listening and you think, well, I can't really give up my time, and that's fine. Sometimes you're not able to do that. But another way that you can do is by donating, monetarily. If somebody, maybe wants to donate $1,000 or $5,000. I mean, it's happened before, believe me, I've seen that. I've been witness. One of our partners that, Shantigo, that we had our last meeting at, she started at Bridging the Gap about 5 years ago. And about a year, I think 2 years ago, a philanthropist donated $500,000 to her ministry. Wow. And we've seen a lot of that happen with some of the partners that we had, $100,000 here and all that, but believe me, it's well worth it. Contact number
210-446-8053, and a good email address is andrea@poderosarising.org or info@poderosarising.org.
Okay, so there you go. We're almost right at the end of our program right now, but thank you so much, Andrea, for coming and sharing your time. And I love what you're doing. I want to get behind what you're doing, if what we can do to help, because I believe in the cause and in the mission that you have and the vision, right? And a lot of times it makes it a little easier when you're able to have people that believe in you and want to help in whatever way they can. Again, if any listener out there wants to, contribute either volunteering, which I know there's a great need right now, or either monetarily, please reach out to them. Again, you have that information, or you can contact me directly at area code 210-550-1966, or go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Bridging the Gap Community. Thank you so much. We are here at the end of our program. We'll be back here next week. God bless.